So the music video. We didn't know what we wanted to do. We just knew that it wasn't going to be a performance. We landed on a story following two youths, a male and a female, who experience something together. Through that experience, we see and we walk through time. So whatever, let's say a week, and just how that impacted not only them individually, but how that situation impacted the community around them. There was Jaleel and there was Shariana. Jaleel, I knew his mom. His mom, Salam, was one of the organizers for the march. Her and I go way back. So her and I have had conversations about the march, about everything that was going on. So she was aware, and she was aware of the project. She was like, that sounds amazing. She connected with him, asked him, and he was like, yep, I want to be a part of it. And then through that process, we were able to have conversations back and forth to kind of help him understand not only the role, but that he understood that this is something that's not going to be a walk in the park. This might stir up some emotions because we're going to get raw. And I need you to be prepared for that. And I wanted to make sure Mom was aware of that as well, so they can have their conversations to get him to a space where he can perform, but leave it there. Shariana, that's my goddaughter. So she's now she's danced and stuff like that, but now she's getting into film, commercials and things like that. So I was like, I need a young female. Shariana just makes sense. When I reached out to her mom and her dad, who are both also in the film industry, I said, hey, this is what I want, or this is what I'm looking for. What do you guys think? Is this something that she would be interested in? And again, we had that conversation with them about how deep we're getting, how raw we're getting, and she just needs to know and understand what that means and how we're gonna get her through that process so that she's prepared mentally to once the role is done, once it's cut, she can leave it there. Once Shariana heard about the role from her mom and dad, she was like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. I need to be a part of that. So she came on board, and both her and Jaleel did an amazing job. So shout out to Jaleel, shout out to Shariana. I can't wait for the world to see what you guys put into this project. COVID. Once again. It impacted it kind of the same way as the recording process. It's not that we couldn't do it. It was, we had to think outside the box to get this done. We had to get certain permits to be allowed to shoot certain places. And I guess that's normal through all shoots. However, with COVID now, you're thinking about, okay, but where am I going to house 20 people? I can't just have them standing around. They have to be somewhere. If they're standing around being somewhere, they have to socially distance. What does that look like? If we're outside, if we're inside, all that. Lunch, how does that work with COVID? The scenes, can they wear masks? Can they not wear masks? So many things that you have to test. Screening, all these things had to get done, and I had to answer to the city because they would not allow to shoot unless I had a plan. And typically I would just go and shoot, but I knew that because of the times that we're in, I wanted to make sure that we were crossing our T's and dotting our I's, especially if there's a bunch of Black people just kind of congregating, screaming Black Lives Matter, and really, aggressive with not just the protesters that are in the video, but with the counter protesters that are in the video. So there was just a lot to think about, that I need the city to know what's going on, and I need to make sure that I have the information to keep my crew and my cast safe. Again, the budget ballooned at this point because I had to account for a lot of things that I just didn't think of when I was making the budget. My wife's seen the amount of stress that it was causing me, but also how much time it was taking away from the family. So yeah, sure, we could talk about protocols and things like that. That's one aspect of how COVID impacted that. But what's the trade-off to get all that done is your time and your effort, and what needs to be sacrificed for that. And for me, it was family. And that was hard pill for my wife to swallow at times, because she was like, this is just a lot. She understood that I was passionate about it, but it just took a lot of energy out of me for things that were not in my control.